Hello, and thank you in advance for investing a few minutes of your time to listen to this content. VenLink worked with a company that controls around 3,000 wells with operations across multiple states to conduct a vendor risk assessment, or VRA. A VRA looked at various aspects of their people, processes, and technologies to identify strengths and areas of concern based on our experience. We then harness Notebook LM to analyze and anonymize the data to bring you a summary of the insights and observations from those conversations. The goal is to give you a sense of what a VRA might uncover for your own business. If you're interested in what the output might specifically look like for you, you can email us at info@venlink.com and we'll talk about what makes the most sense for you.
So today we're tackling a challenge that, well, probably keeps a lot of you listening up at night. It's navigating the sheer complexity of vendor management, especially when your business is growing. That feeling of being overwhelmed by vendors, maybe worried about risks hiding in the supply chain, or just frustrated by operational jams. If that sounds familiar, yeah, you're definitely in the right place. Our mission today in this deep dive is to unpack some really crucial insights. They come from an actual vendor risk assessment of VRA that VenLink carried out, and the whole point was to pinpoint those operational financial inefficiencies and critically help understand and actually mitigate the vendor risks that often go unseen.
Yeah, and what's really striking here, I think, is just how common these problems are. This wasn't just a surface look. The assessment VenLink did was really comprehensive. It looked across departments, everything from onboarding a new vendor right through to AP, and importantly, checking insurance. And the scale. They looked at over 2,200 active vendors. That gives you a sense of how big this can get.
Absolutely. So, okay, our goal today is to distill these key challenges, especially that operational friction and the unmitigated risk, and then explore how maybe a centralized, integrated platform can be, well, a genuine game changer.
Okay, let's dive in. So, the VRA findings.
Yeah.
Some are pretty eye-opening. Let's start with the lack of operational due diligence. It sounds dry, but the impact. Wow, can you believe this? They found a case where a fraudster literally infiltrated the accounts payable system. The result, a $35,000 loss gone in one single transaction. And beyond direct fraud, you had other legal headaches, like vendors not paying their subcontractors, which then led to liens against the company itself. Messy stuff.
Right, and if you connect that to the bigger picture, it really highlights massive gaps in internal controls. In one situation, an employee basically exploited their system permissions. They were adding fake, illegitimate vendors directly into the accounting system, completely bypassing validation. Think about that. Over 5 years, that led to more than $1.1 million in losses, just bleeding out because the controls weren't there. That's incredible. And it's not just about the money lost to fraud, is it? There's the operational friction, too, just the inefficiency. The assessment found, get this, 65% of time was spent just manually organizing vendor data. 65%. Think of the wasted hours. But maybe the most impactful example, and it's a tragic one, an unapproved vendor's driver was actually killed on a company site. Why? Because they rushed the onboarding, skipped compliance checks. It led to horrible extended litigation and, of course, massively increased insurance premiums. It just starkly shows the cost, human and financial, of cutting corners.
And that links directly to another huge issue.
Yeah.
The financial hit from unstructured data. Things like incomplete or just wrong pricing records. This company lost around $20 million over 6 years. Why? Undisputable overbilling that they couldn't fight because their records were a mess. Without that central accurate pricing info, you're just vulnerable.
Yeah, vulnerable and bleeding money. Then there's this other classic problem, the out-of-date vendor list. Field teams were relying on, like, weekly emails with approved vendors. But the info got stale fast, so you end up with mystery invoices for work done by who knows? Sometimes even using vendors who were explicitly non-compliant or maybe even forbidden. And this loops right back to that critical insurance verification issue, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And this raises a really key point about insurance. Many standard certificate of insurance programs, COIs, like the Veriforce one this client used, they have limitations. Often, they don't give you real-time verification. And sometimes they don't even cover your G&A vendors, your general admin folks who can still carry significant risk, right? The big problem with a COI is it's just a snapshot. It shows coverage when it was issued. It doesn't guarantee that coverage is still active tomorrow or next week. If a policy lapses, you, the certificate holder, are often left completely in the dark, exposed.
Okay, so you paint a pretty concerning picture. What does this all mean for businesses listening? What's the way forward? Well, the core solution VenLink put forward is about creating a single, integrated platform, basically a central hub. The idea is to automate those workflows, especially for due diligence, strengthen your financial controls, digitize how vendors register, and crucially, centralize all that pricing data. It's about bringing order.
Exactly. And the strategic advantage here is huge. Think about having real-time insurance tracking. That alone is massive for peace of mind and actual protection. Plus, imagine providing a digital approved vendor list and AVL directly to your field teams on their phones or tablets, always up to date. That prevents using non-compliant vendors right at the source, that tragic driving incident. A system like this could potentially have stopped it by flagging the non-compliant onboarding immediately.
Right. And it's important to understand how VenLink approaches this. They act as a true vendor master data management system. It's not necessarily about ripping and replacing everything you already use. It's designed to integrate with your existing tools and data, things like Quorum for accounting, maybe ContractSafe for contracts, Open Invoice, even Veriforce for compliance data. It pulls it all together, streamlines the processes, cuts down those manual errors dramatically, and gives you that single source of truth for all things vendor related.
Yeah, and what's really key here, I think, is seeing how implementing this kind of comprehensive platform transforms risk management. It shifts it from being this reactive, burdensome thing you're always chasing into a proactive strength, something that actually helps the business. It really positions a company for sustainable, confident growth because you're actively reducing that friction and mitigating those hidden risks, especially from vendors you shouldn't be using.
So, maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Take a moment and consider what hidden operational friction, what unmitigated vendor risks might be lurking within your organization right now. How could having that single source of truth for all your vendor data actually revolutionize your efficiency, reduce costs, and ultimately give you genuine peace of mind? Something to think about.
I hope this summary helped you think about how vendors impact your own business. When you'd like to talk, don't forget you can reach us at info@venlink.com. Thank you again for your time.